Hello, children. Shall I tell you a story about the magic of the unicorn? Yes, I'll stop talking like that because that's going to get annoying. It's a choose-your-own-adventure book. Now, I was never entirely sure how long they kept producing these, but according to the blurb inside, let's just see if I can find the blurb inside. This was originally it was published in 1985, and this particular book was released in 2017. Yeah, and it's actually quite a lovely book. I've had a read through this already, because it's a book I've never read before, so I wanted to have a good read through. So some of these reviews I've just been doing first impressions, so this, literally, here's the book that I've never read before. What are my thoughts of it? And others, it's a case of, here's a book I have read before, what are my retrospective thoughts of it, and then I've done the Let's Reads. I'm still planning on doing more and more of the Let's Reads themselves as we go on. I'm going to be doing a Let's Read on this as well, because this is quite a lovely book. It is written by Deborah Lermy Goodman, or Lerm Goodman. I have no idea how you actually pronounce that. Lerme? I have no idea. I'm not even sure what country it's from. France, possibly? I'm not sure. But I do wonder how long these particular quotes are. Kids love reading Choose Your Own Adventure. I like Choose Your Own Adventure because it feels like you're actually in the real book. Alexander Riviera, age 9. These books are great because if you make one choice, you go one way. If you go another, something else happens. Cooper Rappaport, age 10. I love this book series because it's like you are making an experience in the book. When you have made a mistake, you can just go back and choose a new adventure, or you can just hope for the best. Nell Persons, age 8. Probably Pearsons, but I just mispronounced that. Choose Your Own Adventure is like you are literally in the book. And it's like you are writing your own book. When I made a bad decision, I can turn back to make a better decision. I know I will make friends throughout the book until the end. Lucy Badger, age 9. So you've got a bunch of 8, 9 and 10-year-olds. At least 2 of them are admitting that they cheat. And let's face it, we all cheat anyhow in these books. Don't deny it, we've all done it at least once or twice or 15,000 times. But yeah, it is. The illustrations are absolutely beautiful inside this book. I have to say that straight off the bat. There was one bad thing when I actually read through this though. I know he's dead and everything, but it says The Magic of the Unicorn, copyright 1985, R.A. Montgomery. But then it basically goes on to say it's by Deborah Lermy Goodman, and she actually has a write-up in the back of the book. So I'm assuming that that's a bit of an error, because there she is. There's all kinds of stuff about the interior artist as well, the cover artist, and the author herself. Now the thing is, I don't mean any disrespect to R.A. Montgomery, but of his stuff that I've read, as far as Choose Your Own Adventure is concerned, I'm sorry, but I just hate his writing style. It's really horrible. As far as I'm aware, he has passed away. I think he passed away several years ago. But I've managed to find some of the books he's written, and some of them are really, really horrible to read through. He's got some good ideas, but ultimately, some of them are just so poorly written that it's just a pain to go through. You just sort of end up reading through the text twice because you think, did I really read that right? But anyhow, less about him, because this isn't about him. I don't mean to piss on his grave or anything like this. I just do not like his writing style. And this reads nothing like his style, because if anybody's thinking that it might be a ghost written, it's not. The writing style is completely different. For one thing, it flows quite well, and it's just a joy to read, whereas his stuff is, I'm afraid to say, something I just want to put down to give my eyes a rest. Now, they've done lots of rather interesting things on the artwork in this book. I don't recall Choose Your Own Adventure books doing this sort of thing before. You know, literally having landscapes pictures across 2 pages, which is quite a nice touch. It adds something quite nicely to everything, and the drawings are absolutely beautiful. Whoever the interior artist is, and let's just do this person justice by going back and looking at their name, Suzanne Nugent, who has a BFA in illustration from Moore College of Art and Design, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She has spent a lot of time doing these drawings. Okay, for some reason I seem to be having technical problems with the camera. It just keeps stopping every now and then. But I do believe I've managed to get some footage recorded, so I'm going to continue on anyhow. Let's hope it doesn't keep doing that. And that's despite the camera being turned off for God knows how long. But beautiful drawings, as I was saying, throughout, and there are a lot of them as well. Some of them, I mean, how often have you seen in any kind of adventure game book something like this, something that takes over 2 full pages nearly? Almost, apart from obviously where the text is, and even then the text is just sort of overlaid. That is, I wouldn't be surprised if they have done something like that with other books in the series as the years have gone on. I mean, when was this first published again? Let's just check this again. This was first published back in 1985, so they were really stretching themselves even as far back as 85 with presentation and so on. And assuming that these drawings were done back in 1985, they have stood the test of time quite well. Have I said they were beautiful? Because they are. It's just the presentation is absolutely astounding, and as I've said before, the story itself is a joy to read. No matter which route I went through, it is an absolute joy. And you might be able to hear a beeping noise in the background. If you can, I do apologise. That seems to be somebody doing some kind of reversing, so I'm just going to pause the video for a little while I wait for that to end. Sorry about that, children. Okay, so whatever the beeping was, it has now passed. And I'm very glad of it as well. Let's hope that there's no more technical problems with the camera, because it has been playing up just a little bit during this recording session. I've got to say, I'm still amazed at just how beautiful the artwork is. I have never seen this style of art anywhere else before, so I really do need to look at this person's artwork a bit more at some point. I mean, it is just so beautiful. I could quite happily, if I could find prints of this, I would quite happily put some of this up on my wall somewhere, because some of it is just so amazingly beautiful. And I suppose it would probably be better again if there was some colour to it, but I think the artwork has been designed quite specifically to be black and white. I mean, there is methodology that you have to use specifically for drawing in black and white, as opposed to waiting for colour to be added on later, either by somebody else or by the same person. But I think in this case, a little bit of colour would make it become so much more vivid in some ways. But when you see some of the artwork here, for example, there's what looks like the construction lines and the sorts of different shading techniques and so on that are just sort of left in a very sort of primordial way, so to speak, as far as the early stages of drawing are concerned, and they're left in, and it adds something that I just can't quite define. I like to draw myself. I'm relatively good, I like to think. I just never really looked into it too much, to be honest. And this is absolutely beautiful stuff, I have to say. It complements the storytelling so well. The flow of the narrative is so enjoyable. You never feel bad when you read this book, even if something bad has happened to your character. You never feel bad about it. Even the endings, when they are bad, you feel okay with it. It's literally a joy to read. It's a joy to look at. And here we are, right at the back, all the adverts for everything else. So there will be a Let's Read coming up. I've obviously had to do quite a bit of editing as far as this video is concerned, due to technical problems and interruptions that are beyond my control. But I've got to say something else just before I sign off. I don't get what this is supposed to be about here. I mean, I'll have to obviously visit the website and at some point and see what I can find out about what this is. I mean, it looks like some sort of family tree, or possibly some sort of route map. But I've never seen anything like that on an adventure game book before. Usually there'll be some blurb on the back then. Let's just see. We don't seem to have anything like that here whatsoever. That's rather unusual. You've just got the beware and warning and whatnot, and that's it. There's no text anywhere on here to give you the background in any way, shape or form. You just learn about that within the text of the book itself. It's a lovely book and I do recommend it. Definitely get a hold of it. Whether it's going to be something you'd read to a child as a sort of bedtime treat if you're a parent, or let a child read by themselves, or even as a teenager yourself or as a fully grown adult. It is an enjoyable book. Even if you're not into fantasy settings and unicorns and whatnot. I definitely recommend it. Bye bye.